Hey guys, welcome back to another stream. Seeing you after a long time. Uh, Today we have with us Jigar and Pushpak. Today we are going to talk about event-driven architecture, and that is specifically with Laravel and RabbitMQ. Pushpak is going to uh, present us how to use the RabbitMQ, Laravel stuff, and all these things. We haven't prepared anything as we already posted on Twitter. We will check all the things on the fly, and hopefully we will see the actual developer life what happens when we have errors, when we have when we don't have solution. Let's see how it goes. But before that, let me ask Jigar and Pushpak to introduce themselves. Jigar, you can go first. Yeah.
Yes. Hey everyone, I'm Jigar and I'm a host and organizer of Laravel Pune. You guys don't know me. I am quite active over there, even on Twitter. And yes, I am looking forward to learn from Pushpak and explore together. Yes.
Yeah, Pushpak.
Uh, hi everyone. I'm Pushpak. I work as a senior software engineer at Clearless Analytics. I'm also a very active community member of Laravel Pune as well as Laravel Mumbai. And yeah, using Laravel for last 6 years of my life. Uh, I also haven't prepared anything. I will be also learning all of these new things on the fly. So yeah, hopefully I will also learn new things today. And yeah, let's jump right into it.
Yeah, I think it will be very interesting because this is the first time I think. No, I think I tried this once with Amitav. We planned something and we on the live stream we did something else. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
So so let me introduce myself as well. So I'm Bhushan Gaikwad. I'm a full stack developer at Rebel. Uh, I have I'm working with Laravel around 8-10 years. I don't know. I started very long back. This is how it is. So let's get started, Pushpa. Yeah, stage is all yours. You're muted. If you're not can you unmute yourself?
Yes. Sure. Uh, Let me share my screen.
Okay.
I hope everyone is able to see my screen.
We can add this to stage. Okay. So now people can see it.
Perfect. Uh, so again, I also don't know a lot many things about RabbitMQ. I have worked with RabbitMQ for a very basic stuff, just for the normal publisher and subscriber thing, which in my case is very basic. But RabbitMQ can be used for a lot advanced stuff as well. Like RabbitMQ has this functionality, or you can say RabbitMQ offers so many features that you can actually use it for so many different use cases. And to be honest, I haven't also explored that all the use cases of RabbitMQ. For
Mm-hmm.
me, we use this at my workplace uh, for a very basic use case, just for publishing something from one service to another service. So as you mentioned on the documentation, also on the official RabbitMQ, it's a reliable messaging and streaming broker, and like which is easy to deploy on cloud environments, on premises, and on your local machine. And it's currently used by millions worldwide. So it's a on a very simple term, it's a message broker. So if you are coming from a Q Laravel side and you haven't used any RabbitMQ or any other message brokers, what exactly RabbitMQ is? Uh, it's a Laravel queue on steroids, basically. If I want to explain it to you all, uh, it's same as Redis. Like there are very different message brokers currently in the market. There is a Kafka, there is a Redis, and every library, or you can say every application, has their own trade-offs and their own designs, like what you have to use for that specific technology. Uh, so like RabbitMQ also has lot of trade-offs, lot of advantages when you wanted to use them. So Laravel basically focuses on a ready stuff for queuing, for all sort of queuing basically. But as you know, Redis can be also used for PubSub model, in-memory cache database, all sort of things. So RabbitMQ is also, it's kind of that, but it's not a memory database. Redis can be used for memory database, but RabbitMQ is a pure message broker. You can compare RabbitMQ with a Kafka. It's like a closest competitor of sorts. Again, there are different use cases for both of them. If you want more flexibility around like how your message should be consumed by different consumer, then RabbitMQ is a good choice. But if you have a lot of scale and like there is like for let's suppose there are lot many scale and only limited number of consumers, then like Kafka or other message brokers can be useful for you. RabbitMQ, you can say there is like offers most of the functionality in terms of a message brokers. So we will start, and on a homepage itself, you can see what many use cases you can actually use RabbitMQ for. One is like very simple thing. You just put something on a queue, and that is consumed by some. It's the same as Laravel queue worker. So you put some queue job into a worker, and then same thing. Once you start executing Laravel queue work, PHP Artisan queue work, it consumes that message and show you the output basically. It's a very simple use case for RabbitMQ. Then there are worker queues. Like basically, you can have a multiple consumers running, like consuming same queue or maybe different queues. And then there comes a publisher subscriber model. Like there will be multiple queues, multiple consumers.
I see there are a lot of languages mentioned, right? So it supports a lot of languages as well, right?
The major advantages of RabbitMQ is also one thing. It is first party support for many languages. So it also has all these languages. You can see it has first party support. So you will find the integration with most of the frameworks, most of the libraries, most of the languages. So yeah, that is also one reason many people prefer RabbitMQ. Then there is a routing. So there can be like, as per of your requirement, there can be a different like multiple consumers, multiple queues, and you have to like specifically pass in a such a like you need to pass a job in a such behavior that it should like consumed by two different consumer, or it should be put into two different queues at the same time. And that's why the routing used. Then there is a topic. It's not only, it's like a same as a routing, but just like you can send multiple messages on a different queues. It's based on a pattern basically. Like you can assume one pattern to queue, and let's suppose if you send any job regarding that in that pattern, it will send to that consumer or that queue basically, and then consumer will handle that based on the queue it has been connected.
There are some strategies as well, right? Like that fan out, direct.
Yeah.
So I think
Yes,
in the
exactly.
fan out, it creates the copy and then sends it, right? Something like that.
Yes. So this sits on an exchange. I will come to that part also. So how exactly behind the scenes it's RabbitMQ uses this thing? Like how exactly RabbitMQ use this thing? It's called exchange, and then there is a queues. Basically, it's a combine of exchange and queues. So if you know, in our basic Laravel queue thing, right, we directly push the message to the queue, if you know. But in RabbitMQ, it doesn't happen like that way. You can configure it to handle like that way, but there sits a one middle program called exchange, or you can say one middle thing between the queue and your publisher, which called exchange. And based on that exchange, whatever message you have configured, exchange will determine where exactly it needs to deliver that queue job, basically, in very simple term. So let's suppose if this is just close it for 1 hour. This is a publisher. Publisher is like nothing but on a Laravel when you called queue dispatch, right? That is
Hmm.
nothing but in a very simple term, it's a publisher. So this is a publisher. Then comes your this RabbitMQ part.
Publisher is nothing but an app which publishes the things into the queue, right? That's it.
Exactly,
Ah,
exactly.
okay.
And then there is a subscriber. So subscriber is nothing but your Laravel queue worker. It runs
Hmm.
as a separate process and consumes whatever into your queue right now. So if you are using database driver as a queue, it will constantly read the database. If there is a data job in the database, it will consume that based on the logic state, right? Which class needs to be handled, whatever the logic is, and the pass data basically, and based on that, it will handle. So it's nothing but a subscriber only. And now in RabbitMQ, there is a two thing called like it's combined of two things. One is exchange. Now exchange is one thing like it's on a simple term if you want to understand what exactly exchange is. Uh, Publisher will not know, like you can configure the way you want, but publisher on a very high level on a default configuration, publisher will not know which queue it wants to send data. Publisher will just mention that uh, this is the message queue regarding this like I need to handle this message basically. Now it's responsibility of an exchange to send this to specific queue, and then it's based on the responsibility of consumer how to handle that message basically. So it's exchange is just like simply routing the message basically to publisher to the queue.
So probably when looking at the code, we will understand what exchanger, what is the key that exchanger looks at to decide at which queue it wants to forward. So the selector is decided by exchange, but on what parameter is that selector decided on?
Yeah,
Pub
exactly.
is
I was also thinking that only. Like if
yeah,
exchange needs to know, right, where to send it. So producer will send something. I don't know
yeah.
what, but something. But then exchange will
Probably,
determine. Okay, I got this.
yeah.
Send it to that queue.
So
Yeah.
how
So
how how the exchanger will bifurcate, right? That is still not clear. So
Hmm.
yeah,
bifurcation exchanger will do, we understand, but how it is still not clear. Probably I'll wait for the coding part.
Code. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
I will tell you one thing. So the way it do is it has like 5 or 6 types of configuration you can set basically on the exchange. How your message needs to be handled. There are like fan out, there is a topic based, then there is a routing, then there is another thing called default one.
Hmm.
So there are a lot of things. I also don't know all of these things, but we will go through it and like exactly how many.
Yeah,
So
I
I
know
think we will.
there are
Yeah,
four five
there
strategies.
are.
There
Yeah,
are
I'm
four
not
five
sure where
strategies.
exactly, but yeah, there are 4 or 5 strategies how your message needs to be handled
Hmm.
behind the scenes.
Hmm.
So based on that, like you will pass some data into that message itself, like how exactly it needs to be passed, and whatever exchange is defined, based on that, it will handle the routing of your message to that specific queue. We'll come to
Hmm.
that part later. Like there are a lot of configuration, and that's why I said like when you want very flexible routing of the messages to be delivered, that's why many people prefer RabbitMQ.
Hmm.
So you want a lot of control over routing, like how the message should flow from one publisher to the queue.
So have you planned what all strategies are you planning to cover in this stream? Because there are many, and I'm pretty sure we won't be able to cover all of them. So
I think we will go with a normal default one, and I think one is a very popular, which is a fan out. Uh,
Hmm.
then yeah, I think we can explore this too, and then if we have a time, then we can explore others also.
I was actually I was about to say that I want to see the fan out, because fan out is something like we publisher publishes the message and then it gets copied into like multiple copies, and then it gets like whoever wants the consumer, then it sends the copies of that. So I think it is interesting. I if possible we'll try to explore. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is exchange. Then These are the different queues. You can create all sort of queues, a lot many queues. And based on this, I'm not sure why it's. So based on this, this is called RabbitMQ basically. This is complete message broker, and now there is a connection between this publisher and subscriber will subscribe to the queue.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there can be one subscriber, multiple subscriber based on your application needs. Okay. Now coming to package which I we were talking today. So this is a in-house package we created at my company for our very basic use case. There are again very mature packages, Bhushan, but it's like for our use case, it was like we need a very basic Laravel RabbitMQ integration. So we created this package at that time.
Mm-hmm.
It has all the.
I saw that package, different package as well, which I actually
Yes.
shared it on Twitter as well. So
Yeah, that is a
is
very popularly used basically this one.
yeah, it is actually a driver. It's a queue driver actually for the Laravel itself.
Yep. It can be used as a queue driver also, and like there are extended use cases as well.
Mm-hmm. It supports a
Like
lot
you
of
can
things like
actually.
storage and everything.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. Like if your subscriber is not from the PHP language, it's a different language, then it also can configure that way. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like a very futuristic package. There are a lot of features, and we want a very simple thing. So like we created a very basic packages for that use case.
But the package you showed, right, that has more object-oriented structure. So I saw that there are a lot of methods and abstractions, which is very nice. I think I love
Yeah.
in that sense. It's nice.
You say it's a easy to use Laravel package. It's a
Mm.
very basic use case. You can go into detail. You can configure a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, our goal was to create a easy to use package basically.
Okay.
And yes, you can see there was a direct exchange, topic exchange, fan out, and default exchange. This 4 configuration it can configure at this point. So for now, what I have done is to show is basically I have created a very simple Laravel application. This is a Laravel sale. I'm not sure font is big enough. This is running at my Docker. So
Can you make it
basic,
little bit big?
yep. Is it visible now?
No, I think it's better. I think it's better. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, please go ahead.
So there are 2 or 3 ways I guess we can run the Laravel RabbitMQ. One is using Docker image. One is there is a CLI also, which you can use RabbitMQ CTL, something like that. And then you can also use a cloud hosted version itself. So whatever is your use case, but for we are using Laravel sale, basically we will use a Docker image. And I will use this 3.13 Alpine version because Alpine is a lightweight Docker,
Mm-hmm.
basically lightweight Linux. Just copy the configuration.
Yeah, basically, when we use the Alpine version in Docker, that means it is a bare minimum. It has nothing installed. When we get the Alpine version, then on top of it, we need to add like anything we want to add, we have to add it. It is a
Yeah,
like
basically, yes.
smallest one.
It's a, yeah, you can say very slim version. It's very slim
Slim version.
Linux.
Yeah, perfect.
Then port, I think, I'm not sure which port it exports. I think 5367, something like that. Oh, and also I think one thing is we missed is one management plugin is also one thing required. We want a admin panel, right? So we want
Hmm.
that management plugin to be enabled. So I think we need to install 3.13 management Alpine. This one.
Sorry, what is that management thing?
It's a just admin panel for your RabbitMQ instance, basically.
UI. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Horizon.
kind of Horizon. You can like if you are running this on a cloud or some other service, then you don't need a management plugin. Uh, and just forgot on which port RabbitMQ runs by default.
It's on web
Five six
UI.
seven.
It's 15672.
Yes. So it's we need to expose 5672 with 5672 of the machine and 15672 to 15672 of 15672 admin panels. Basically, the management plugin runs.
Correct.
Environment wise, I think need to use RabbitMQ default certified. I'm not sure. Okay. And I will just share this as a guest and password also as a guest. He'll check we don't require it. Network is something we need to run it on a shell. I think this looks good. Let me just quickly close my cell and start it.
Can you increase the size of this terminal?
Yeah. Up minus. Right. Okay, I think I forgot to. Yes, I need to remove this unnecessary service for now. And also, oh, not bad. Cell.
Sale build directly, I think. Okay, up also should work. Yeah.
Up for the first time, it will try to build. If it is already built, then it will just get it from cache.
Yep. Let's see till the time we have. Any other thing do we need to set it up?
Do you use Docker for everything?
Yes. Yeah, like I use like any new project, I start with a Docker first. First set up Docker and then starts any different things.
I recently shared a tweet where I said that is Laravel required if one is comfortable with Docker, and many of folks agreed that.
So let's see. 15672 works perfectly. It's not working. Okay, it's working. Guest. And this is the admin panel, basically, which you can see.
Can you zoom in?
Then there is, yeah. So currently you can see there are 7 exchange. And yes, I told you, like there are total 7 exchange. Basically, there is a default, direct, file out, headers, match, trace, topic. So out of this, I guess I only used default one. I have never used fan out, never used headers, topic. I never had a requirement of using this. But you can see all this exchange are supported by default. You can also add a new exchange. Like if you want to configure a like new exchange again, like you can also have 2 exchanges. Again, I know I don't understand why there will be a use case of handling two use case, but you can configure it that also.
No. Let's say there are millions of things, right, happening. Millions of queues are happening. So then they can segregate the two exchange. One can work on one. One can
Yeah,
work on the one. This kind of
yes,
stuff.
that can also be a requirement. Then
Hmm.
there is a connection basically when you will start sending out, like start consuming the connecting the RabbitMQ instance. Basically, it will start happening here. Currently, we haven't connected anything here, so it's not coming up. Then whatever the queues which you're gonna be creating, it will be also gonna display here. So RabbitMQ has this one thing which I saw basically is when you start consumer basically on the queue, you just mention that I need to start consuming this queue. RabbitMQ will start connecting it and it will create a queue automatically. You don't need to create a like queue separately. Like you don't need to create a add new queue and all sort of things. It will create a queue just based on the consumer. So even if you send a publisher message on that queue, if the queue doesn't exist, it will create that queue.
So
Hmm.
what data do we pass to this exchange from producer?
Yeah, let's see that. Basically, we just passed a message. It can be in a JSON payload format. It can be text format, whatever the format. It's like a whatever data passing mechanism you want to from one place to another.
Still, so I still like my earlier question is still not. I'm still not clear with that. Like how it will bifurcate. So on what basis? Now you're also adding that it will also create queues on itself, like by itself.
So
So
let's do
No.
one thing. We will jump into the package and we will understand how exactly it do behind the scene. It
Uh,
generates.
that will be better.
So
Looking at dashboard was too overwhelming for me. Too much of information.
yes, lot many information. If you are the guy coming for this dashboard for the first time, most
hmm.
of the things you will not understand what's happening. What is this? What is connection? What is this queue? What is this overflow behavior? Is this I like you will be confused for sure.
Yeah, coming from Horizon, this is all like 10x.
Yeah, and yes, to your point, right? When you have this many use case, you have like very bloated software where lot many configurations are going on, and when you have a flexibility of putting lot many things, there is like very much things we you need to offer to the user basically, and that's a
Yeah.
perfect example.
In the afternoon, also, I saw one video from Hussein. That video, like he was telling about all this good stuff about RabbitMQ, and in the end, he was putting his opinion, and he was telling that it supports like AMQP, it supports HTTP, it supports a lot of other protocols, it supports the different strategies like fan out, direct, topic, routing. So it has a lot of things. So and also it has a lot of jargons like exchange, publisher, consumer, pub, sub, event push, pull. A lot of things are there. So it looks overwhelming, but let's see. Hopefully we will get to know something, and then we'll build up, and then we'll get the things sorted.
Yeah, totally agree with you. So this has published RabbitMQ.php. Still taking time to index. Yep.
Mm.
So by default, it's going for RabbitMQ localhost 5672. But as we are running it on a Docker, we need to pass a host name
Mhm.
5672. Username and password is not there. I guess we are
It's
setting
guest,
up.
I think so.
Guest.
Guest.
Uh, is it guest? Okay, just let's set a guest here.
Is it always guest, or you set it up like this?
I set
Is
it up basically default password.
Mhm. Okay.
Uh, Now we will go to weave.php, and before it return a view, what we will do is we will just create this and see what exactly it returns.
Mhm.
So it's passing app, as an instance.
Hmm.
You can also construct it by dependency injection. So don't need to pass this manually.
I have
Let's
one
see.
question. So in this manager, we are passing that app means we are passing container itself. Like why we are
Basically,
passing?
it's passing a configuration. If you see this, it's passing app,
Hmm.
and why it's passing app? Wait, app.
So
This
that is
app.
the requirement of a package apparently.
Yep.
Hmm.
But
Package requires the whole
like,
container.
Basically, it
right?
wants config. It's what config, and I think we're just doing lazy job by passing the app instead completely and getting the config.
Whatever is needed, the package will take it.
Yes,
Okay.
package will take it basically.
But it's
Okay.
so, I would say it's risky also. But yeah,
It's leaking a lot of
Yeah,
information, but it's fine. Yeah.
but there is a lot of configuration you can do as I mentioned,
Hmm.
right? Many
Hmm.
things. Then coming to the point, let's see what exactly it returns. So it has now been initialized, and let's see if it's showing it in the connection or something. It's not showing because we haven't started a connection. Okay. Okay. Let's do one thing. Let's do a very small this publish activity.
Hmm.
We just do it on the same message, then publish. Let's see what exactly happens. So basically, it's passed as a string,
Hmm.
and let's see what exactly will happen. Publish returns void.
should be visible in.
In the die dump, did you see the connection property filled with something?
Hey, we see some graph
Yep.
over here.
See,
Hmm. Okay.
now it has shown the connection. So as you can see,
Ah.
that it has connected as an unroutable basically. It was not able to put it into any queue or something because there was nothing mentioned on the message basically. It just passed the message to the RabbitMQ. It didn't pass anything. It didn't. So as you can see, there was one job put it in the RabbitMQ, but it was unroutable, and that's why it's dropped basically.
Hmm.
Uh,
Okay.
so this is a
Drop means
very
it's not stored somewhere like in the like
yeah,
it
it's
won't
a
be.
drop. It was not handled itself. It didn't find anything where it needs to be routed or it's how it needs to be handled, and it's dropped that thing because we are
So
not
that data is
passing any.
gone.
Yeah, we didn't
So
pass any configuration where exactly which queue needs to be handled, which queue need like in which queue basically we need to put it these things.
to
Okay.
summarize, like if they are sending an email, that email won't be sent. Like it's gone forever.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Okay.
If we don't have the address like a recipient address, it will like
Hmm.
gone forever.
Discarded. Okay. Okay. That I think that is good. So if the developers are not configuring properly, then it doesn't know
Yeah.
where to go, right? So it will be stored somewhere and it will be
There
garbage.
should
So
be
it's better.
fallback also, right? There will be fallback if I'm not wrong.
Yes, there. I think we can do something. There was a fallback thing, but
Yeah,
I'm not
later we'll
sure.
come to it later. We'll come to that
Yeah,
later.
let's.
But first,
Yes,
let's.
but our integration is done. I think our this instance is able to talk with our RabbitMQ, which we have
Hmm.
set it up. Let's see now exactly how exactly we need to set a consumer and or publish anything. So to publish a message with a proper queue and everything,
Hmm.
we need to first set up a RabbitMQ exchange. So
Hmm.
this is a RabbitMQ. Then consumer is something we don't want. Routing key. Routing key is a very important thing. I will come to that. It's like a queue name sort of thing, or maybe a let's suppose on which queue you want to put this data into. So I am also not sure what exactly routing key used for. So let's see.
It's okay. It's okay. Let's continue. We'll understand. We'll understand. And
Yep.
but I now the puzzle is getting mystery is getting solved for
Solved.
me.
Yeah.
And
So routing key is key. I'll just set up
Even I saw
exchanges.
that below when we are publishing, after the message we are passing the routing key.
Yep.
so we are configuring a exchange over here, but that routing key we are passing
While publishing at the
while
bottom.
publishing. Okay.
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 So we
So
don't want
exchange
this.
is still not aware of the routing. The pub. Okay.
So now, as you can see, now we are sitting on a message which exchange we want to post it. So this RabbitMQ exchange take a name, config, and everything, and based on that, it will create an exchange, or if there is an exchange already created, it will use that exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And now, if I send this,
There are two published statements.
Yeah.
okay, sorry, my bad.
Hmm.
So now, if I do this,
Hmm.
connection was made.
Hmm.
Now again, it was unroutable.
No, it published one.
Yeah, it published basically, but it didn't go to any exchange.
Can you go to exchange? I think I saw a test exchange there at the bottom. It created that text exchange.
Yep.
In the code you added that. Right?
It created
code
this new exchange because it didn't found the exchange. It created this exchange, and wasn't. Now we have passed the routing key as a key, but there is a no queue which is handling with that key basically. So I'm not sure how exactly we need to configure it. So
can we create it from the dashboard?
Maybe let's try that way.
The queue with the routing key.
Default for virtual host. We'll start paste durable argument. Okay.
Key is key only.
And add queue. But
Slash.
no, not sure. I think we need to remove this. No need of this. Let's see what happens if we do it for normal key. Normal queue. So this queue has been created. But I guess that message was dropped, so I need to send it again. Okay. So again, it was unroutable, and it has dropped it because it's showing in a green. We need to find out why it's happening. Are there any queues assigned with this message, basically?
Can you try publishing from the UI? I saw that we can publish it from the UI.
Yes, we can publish it from the UI. So it's key header hello world publish message, but not routed.
Why?
Yeah, let's find out that because this exchange has no bindings. Basically, no queue has been connected to that exchange. We need to figure out how to connect the queues with the exchange. Basically. Yes.
Okay. Let's check how to connect. You are searching for Laravel documentation, I think so. You can. RabbitMQ.
RabbitMQ.
Okay. How to connect queue.
Let's do one thing. We'll start one consumer from the Laravel itself, and we'll mention all the same configuration on which we published as on that consumer itself, and let's see if we create a queue or not. I'm also not sure. Let's
Okay, so there is a possibility that Laravel consumer is doing some magic.
yes.
Okay, let's try.
So consumer will be a never-ending one, right? So it will always keep
Yes,
running.
it will always run.
We are creating a console command for that. Okay, makes sense.
I think it's auto-loaded. All the commands are auto-loaded. Then my Rabbit consumer. Just copy the code. Now, on all these things, we already have this routing key, which is key. Exchange, we also use the exchange called paste exchange. So use that same one. And this option queue, we don't have a queue.
We created a test queue, right? Probably use that or new one. Probably
Let's
create a new one so that we'll know that if it creates a queue or not.
yeah, so Laravel, just name this as Laravel.
Yeah.
And let's start. Say Adesan. I think so it started.
Yep, it's reading.
Let's see if so see, as I mentioned, like Laravel queue has been created automatically.
It's doing its magic.
Can we check the bindings? Test
So
exchange.
Now it's connecting to Taste Exchange.
Perfect.
And there is an active connection basically. It's an active connection from the same point. And on the text exchange, if you see now there is a Laravel and routing key is a key. Now let's publish the same message again.
But you have to change the queue name, I think.
No, I think even when I close the queue will still running. The queue has been already created in the RabbitMQ. Even if I close the consumer here.
Okay. No. I mean to say in the code you will have to change the queue name.
Name.
Yeah.
Previously it was test, right?
Yes. I don't think so. We need to do that. We are not mentioning which queue we want to send here. We will just send the data on this exchange with the routing key called key. Now this queue actually here is actually you can see this queue is actually listening on the routing key called key.
Okay.
And we haven't mentioned which queue we want to send data. We will just send data for this routing key. Now let's send the data again. And you can see now data came into the queue. And it's not unroutable right now. It's a published one. It's right. And if you see, one queued message was handled. Now, as I am not running consumer, it came here and it's stored into a basically queue. It's not getting consumed by any other thing right now.
But we can see that, right, in the dashboard?
Yeah, we can see that.
Yes, see, currently there are one queue message. Like if I do it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, there will be multiple queue messages. Here this number will go up.
Check the payload of this message. Can you check the payload down here?
Yes, I can check the payload. Now see there are like total seven queued message.
How?
I refresh this page, like I published 7 times the same message. Now here we can actually get the message here, and you don't want to acknowledge it basically. What page the number of messages you want to take? I will take 3. You can see what is the message body. Message body.
Okay.
Now you can pass JSON, all sort of things. If you want to pass JSON.
So before we move to other strategies, can you show me the config file for this RabbitMQ package that we have installed? I think we haven't configured the this RabbitMQ at Laravel level, right? We are using the default
Yes.
config that is provided by package. So
Hmm.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure
No,
if
no,
it
we
provides.
configured, right? We configured in the RabbitMQ. We published from the package. We published the configuration in the instead of creating env variables, we edited there itself.
Oh, okay. So this is the
Uh,
whole RabbitMQ one. Okay, I probably missed
and
out that.
at
So
the top we have host, guest name, username, password, everything.
this is the one who is doing all the heavy lifting, basically.
Hmm.
That's why
Hmm.
this package requires this whole config. Not ideally, yeah, this whole config, and it is able to do all the configuration of queue over here, exchange also over here. Okay,
And now
yes.
let's run the consumer from the Laravel itself and see what
Hmm.
exactly it do. So if we go to RabbitMQ consumer, what exactly it's doing is it's just handling, like here is the handler function. It's logging that message, whatever the message it's getting,
Hmm.
into a console. So if I run this,
Hmm.
see,
Okay, we got all the
so
messages.
yes, it
Can we
started.
can we check on the RabbitMQ side it got processed or not? Like,
Yes. Let me see. Now come one part. It hasn't been. It has been processed, but it has been unacked basically. So every time you process the message, you need to tell the queue that I have processed the message. Now it's your job to remove that from the queue itself. So
hmm.
if I try to execute this, it will not execute it. It will execute it, and it will still mark it as unacked basically. Now,
Hmm.
one thing we need to do is basically we need to act, give the acknowledgement to the queue that we have consumed this.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, I think there is also one thing. This is why people say that RabbitMQ with RabbitMQ we have assurance of the delivery of the queue message. So
yes,
unless and until the consumer acknowledges that I have received it, until that point it stores that data.
yeah.
So that
So
that
here,
makes sure
whatever
the
the logic,
delivery is 100%.
yeah. So here, whatever the logic you want to write, based on these two methods, you can actually uh, basically acknowledge or reject, or you want to requeue again or not requeue again. You can do all sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
So if I acknowledge now and I execute this, there will be
His voice is breaking.
Breaking, yes.
Pushpak, there
Start.
is a internet issue at your end.
uh, so sorry for this. Uh,
Yeah.
but let me just try it again. Now, if I start consuming, I think there should be a zero queue message because I started acknowledging those messages here. Let me just, after this.
Hey, Pushpak.
Pushpak?
Hello. Hello, guys.
Mm.
Are you able to
Hey,
hear it? I'm able to hear you.
yes.
Now it's better. Now it's better.
So sorry for this. But now you can see now I started acknowledging those messages. Now the
Hmm.
total queued messages are zero. And based on
Zero.
your logic, you can actually control all sort of things. Like, do you want to requeue it again? Do you want to acknowledge it? Unless you have acknowledged it, like unless you have processed that entire thing, then you can acknowledge it. Otherwise, you can just not acknowledge it, cancel it. You want to drop it. All sort of things you have a proper control over it.
Hmm.
So
Okay,
this is a
so
very basic. Okay. Yes, go ahead, Jigger.
do you where is the retry, like at which level we can have the retry mechanism? Let's say, for example, so there is a temporary database connectivity issue at particular message level, like when producing, uh, when consuming, sorry. So then how, at which level we should retry, at application level, or is there a mechanism at RabbitMQ level that okay, if it detects something like
No. So see, RabbitMQ is not a retry mechanism thing. So RabbitMQ is just doing a very simple job, taking that message, storing that into some kind of a array, or on a very high level, it's storing that into some kind of a data storage thing. Now
hmm,
it's your application job in order to how to process that message basically. Now in application, if you see there is an exception thrown by database that your query did not go through, it's on your business logic. Do you want to process it again, or do you want to just discard it? How do you want to handle it? It's on you. It's basically application will make sure that how exactly I want to process that data.
all right,
Uh,
all
since,
right.
since we are talking about data, I have one question. Like, is it possible that I can send PDF, image, or something like this with this,
I am
or
also
just
not sure. I am also not
let's
sure.
Google
Let's see.
let's Google ask ChatGPT or do something, but let's try to figure out.
So you want to
Send
pass.
email or PDF, like I want to send like some PDF or
So but
image or something.
Yes,
so
you
but
can
then
actually rabbit him.
Okay, I need to convert it into binary and then I need to send it as a
Yes,
binary stream.
yes.
yeah,
Doesn't look into the body of message. You can send anything, any binary data.
Any
Like
binary
it's a
data.
stream basically. You can send images. You can send MP3. As long it's a stream, you can send all sort of things.
All sort of things. Okay, nice.
and does does each stream have some uh, like it's a stream, so obviously I think it won't have any limit, right? So 10 MB, 50 MB, there is no limit.
I'm not sure about this. Let's, let's ask ChatGPT this question.
ChatGPT.
No, ChatGPT is no. It's better to go to the documentation. It sometimes acts over smart.
Over
I,
smart,
I,
actually.
Is there a limit on message size while sending data in Rabbit?
I have a
It's 2
funny
GB
story, but
basically. Uh,
oh,
but you can
okay.
like it's not recommended to send than 128, like larger data than 128.
128 MB. Okay.
Hmm. All
Okay, it's
right. So,
supposed to be
Two,
so
two.
two,
actually, in that case, right, Bhushan, what I would do is like I would create two separate jobs,
Hmm.
like two separate jobs. One job is to simply upload it to S3 or some place where a URL is available, like
Hmm.
private URL obviously, and then that other job will responsibility will be to
Hmm.
process that S3,
Right, right.
something like that. I
That,
will.
that is actually nice. That is actually nice. We can have one signed
yeah,
route and that can be accessed from the another service.
Yeah.
If the
yes.
file is very large,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Because we had done that in my last company, so we had
Mm-hmm.
to process videos. So there were uh, jobs in parallel, not parallel but in line, what is a synchronous chain, basically chain of jobs, so they used to handle it like that.
Hmm. I have
Hmm.
weird question now. Since we are streaming data, can it stream live video or something?
No, I don't.
No, I don't think so. See, it can process live. It can process live streaming of data, but it will not be able to stream the data. Basically, so it's not handling the client to server communication. It's sitting between two different servers, and it's handling that communication between
No,
two
no,
servers.
just for fun. Just for fun. Let's say I'm a developer. I want to stream this, and I want to use fan out. So you are at home, Jigar at home. So I can stream from here, and then you guys will receive it.
Yeah, yes, yeah. We can actually use that. You can use to stream basically
Day to day.
any stream, any data. You can just we will start a consumer on our end, and you just push the data in real time, and we will see that.
So my understanding is like if it should be possible. I think it is. If it is streaming, it should be possible. But the level at we will have to code or think it will be much lower. We won't get
Yeah.
flexibility like some Laravel package, like what he has built, his company has built.
Mm. I think it is using that something, some library from AMQ itself, like the
Yes.
RabbitMQ itself. So it should have everything we need.
So behind the scene, it's using the official AMQP library.
Hmm.
So if you see RabbitMQ, not this one, sorry.
You can show it from Composer as well. Composer JSON.
Yes, PHP MQP lab. It's using behind the scene. It's like a just wrapper built on top of PHP MQP lab
For the Laravel.
AM,
for the Laravel.
AMQP is a protocol.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
a advanced messaging queue protocol.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's a AMQP.
And but it's not limited to AMQP. It supports HTTP and all this other stuff as well, other protocols as well.
Is it?
Yeah, it supports
So-
HTTP.
So I'm going bit back. So this protocol,
it's
I will research on that protocol bit later. But Bhushan, that does that protocol support video streaming? Because at the end, it is everything about protocol, right? I'm not sure. I haven't explored this protocol. If that protocol supports streaming, let's say, for example, if VLC player supports that protocol, then yeah, why not?
I didn't saw RMTP there, so I don't think so. Video is possible or not. Like in that.
If my understanding is right, it all boils down to protocol and other clients which have implemented those protocols.
Those protocols, correct. They can
Yeah.
use that.
If you are able to see my screen, there is like a stream documentation here on the RabbitMQ itself. It also supports like a streaming.
Using streaming.
Yes.
Large fan replay.
Basically, you can start any connection on a JavaScript. Also, you can start get the data, and you can actually stream it if you have this like protocol implemented on any language. You can actually do that. There will be no issues of sort. And as you mentioned, yes, it supports AMQP, SQO, MP, MQTT, AMQP 1.0, and HTTP and WebSocket. I'm not sure what exactly it supports into HTTP. Okay, basically it uses that same management plugin we saw, using this to create a job in top of, like, basically send and receive messages using this.
There is some message written below. What is that? While HTTP is not really. Can you go to that screen?
Yeah.
While HTTP is not really a messaging protocol, RabbitMQ can transmit messages over HTTP in 3 ways. So these are 3 ways.
Basically, it uses WebSocket. MQTT messaging to the browser using WebSocket. Yeah, actually, we can use it for streaming also. Then, if this is the way, I was also not aware for this, but you can actually,
it was just a weird idea. I tried.
You can actually use RabbitMQ to stream. And basically, you can write on the front end. You can use a JavaScript library, and based on that library, you can start consuming the stream. And yeah, why not?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So I have one question for you guys. Like based on what we implemented right now, right? So based on that, like, do you guys see any use case where we can use this kind of stuff, or like apart from the normal queue jobs handling all this stuff, anything else?
So I will tell you our real world use case. So we have a couple of microservices for which are not
Can
suitable for.
Can I stop sharing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, let me just stop sharing.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes. So see, we have one use case where we use it for an event-driven architecture only. So we have a couple of microservices, small microservices, which can't be done. Like let's suppose they cannot be done into the PHP. Some very high numerical crunching and all sort of things. Uh, so what we have developed is where we push data from the Laravel to this one queue, as I shown you, right? And then there is a queue consumer written in like completely different language, and that consumer is actually getting that data, and then based on the logic, it processing that data. So it kind of used to for
Okay,
our
flexibility of having multiple languages as a microservices, so we will not have any
yeah.
boundaries in that. Okay.
Yes, and
That
and tell you one thing. So let's suppose how exactly it will also helps you scaling, right? So let's suppose that is a whatever your other thing is a asynchronous thing. Let's suppose it's a image editing. Let's suppose you are doing something with image, and you want very high throughput and all sort of things. So you have written this one small program in different languages where it's like resizing the images, storing on different places. Now, what exactly happening behind the scene is, let's suppose you send the normal image using Laravel to the queue. Now it's stored. Now it's your consumer. You can just start paying consumer on single queue, and you can process a lot of data in real time without actually scaling this big Laravel server. You can just scale this small one script. You can actually run 10 script on one single machine, like start running 10 script on one single machine, and it will handle that in the same way if you have that process. So yeah, it's again one use case.
I have so one thing is pretty clear, that this acknowledgement funda that you suggested, that you said, that I saw, like we had to acknowledge after even after reading the message, so it is possible to read it again also. So that is one unique thing. Use case uh, use case I can't think of as of now, but I think when the data is very critical, I think this flow is much better. I think where we acknowledge, so when the data is critical, anything, so this flow is much better. But now I have a question. So this the subscriber uh, is also called as consumer, if I'm not wrong.
consumer. Hmm.
So
Correct.
now, is it a pull mechanism or a push mechanism? Meaning, is it pulling from a queue, or queue is pushing the data to anyone who has subscribed? So that I have that one question.
It's a same as a pull mechanism. So it will on
So
a while loop it will start running if there is like ask queue, do you have any message? Queue will say, I have one message, take this.
Take this. Yeah.
okay, understood. Okay,
Hmm.
thanks.
So it's a pull mechanism.
Yeah.
Okay. And also one thing, while doing that, publisher can just send the message and then stop the worker, but consumer has to continuously check if new message is there, So that
Yes,
process
yes.
should be like okay.
Yeah,
So
long
both are.
running process basically.
So what I've understood is pretty clear. So especially in case of microservices, this makes sense where services are very independent to each other. They don't really care about that consumer, what it is doing with it, etc., how it's handling. So they do their own respective job. That's it. So I think it's good. But now one more thing. So this uh, consumer, when he acknowledges it, when he or whatever, when it acknowledges it, when acknowledges it, then can, like, can there be multiple consumer who, like, subscribers who want the same data? So let's say I'm thinking from a reporting standpoint where I want to push this data as a publisher. I want to give this data to 10 different subscribers. So will is there a mechanism where everyone will have to acknowledge, or everyone will have to access the different queue, or how it will be?
I
Uh,
think that is
so
fan out strategy. So
Okay.
subscriber can just send the data, and then all the consumers will just want that data, so they'll accept it and then acknowledge. Everyone will acknowledge.
Okay, publisher. You mean publisher will send the data,
Send the
subscriber
data.
will will receive the data and individual will, okay, that is the fan out. Okay.
That
Okay.
is fan out strategy. Yeah.
Okay. I
So
wasn't
there
aware.
are multiple strategies, like topic is there. There are like routing is there that we saw. We need routing key, and based on that, it goes to proper exchange. Uh, and there is
Yeah.
direct as well. So
Okay.
it is just normal queue like thing, direct mesh.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't come like I haven't come across a situation where like I even run a multiple workers like you listen multiple
Mhm.
workers. My
Mhm.
traffic is not that high, so but yeah, it's good to know like how things work. But yeah, like at the RabbitMQ level also there are multiple configurations that it provides, like you mentioned, like routing, etc. So where we can directly separate it out at the queue level itself. So the respective like subscriber, all subscriber don't have to uh, connect to only one queue. They can connect to their respective queue as well, which obviously this RabbitMQ has decided. That is also nice.
Mm. Also, while talking, I heard this exchange term quite a lot. So since we now have some idea about what is exchange, how do you guys see? Is it like some MACD app and like which is just receiving the orders and sending it to different outlet, or what it is?
So broker. So it's a middleman between
Mm.
middleman between the producer and consumer. So I won't say queues because at least from Laravel standpoint, queue mechanism is bundled. Like RabbitMQ is both combination. But if we have to do it manually, then yes, it is a middleman between queue and producer, and it probably has some algorithm. Like it has its different set of strategies where it can spread out the different queue messages. So that strategy. So I simply call it a agent broker or whatever, the middleman.
What do you think, Pushpa?
Uh,
Any
so
simple
see,
term? What do you think? Like,
as per of my understanding, it's doing very simple job based on the message where exactly needs to be delivered.
It's like
Uh,
postman.
it's a post,
Postman.
not post. Yeah, it's basically postman. Based on the later on the message, there will be a configuration where exactly it needs to be sent, and
Mm.
using that, it's just delivering to that post box basically to that person.
Mm. Okay.
But postman has only one job to deliver at this place, right? Here, postman is using its own logic also, like strategies, different strategies. Like there is no one
Yes.
standard formula कि हाँ ये लो सब जगह पे टैक्सी लो और बैठ जाओ.
No, no,
Even
no, no.
अंदर
So
जाना
But
तो
Postman also does, right? They sort it out. They sort out all the letters and go in that direction and deliver it in one go.
exactly,
They also
exactly,
have
exactly.
strategy.
That's what I was trying to say. Based on the message, like if it's a speed post, you might deliver it like, by going through one postman. Yeah, if there is like a normal post, you will send it through like a combination and all like one area message will you combine and then go and deliver it one by one like that only. Uh,
I also
so
want to say one thing. Like when you were explaining, right, that there is some acknowledgement. So when we do speed post, so we get the acknowledgement. Okay, that thing got delivered. We get the receipt of it. So actually, at that time, I was thinking that only. But then since you were talking, so I didn't share. But yeah, speed post. We receive the receipt that that product got delivered or
and
whatever the thing was.
and if you see right, there is lot many configuration, lot many things, and that's why RabbitMQ is a unique in terms like where people needs a lot of control over their queuing system. If you see, if you use normal Laravel system, how many configuration you can do? You can just do normal things, right? You can say
Mm.
retry thing. You can set a priority. You can do normal stuff basically,
Mm.
normal queuing stuff. But if you want more control, like very fine grained control, like how exactly that message needs to be handled, there should be like multiple queues consuming that message. Uh, then there should be a multiple consumer consuming that single queue or like multiple consumer consuming. And as you see, one other good thing is that if there was not queue present, right, it created the queue for us by default. That is also one use case. Yeah, like even the exchange and also the queue. Like even if we don't like specifically create it, it created by default. That was one of the like unique feature I saw. Like it cannot be done in the Laravel.
I
Like
think
Okay,
it is the it is
if
the
we compare
package.
it with the
It is the
I've
package
got
that
one
is
question.
doing the creation of queue job. Queue name. It is the package that is doing the job of creation of queue. Not
no. It's a PHP protocol itself. It's a AMQP lib protocol itself, which if you try to subscribe it with a RabbitMQ, if it sees
then why it did not work for the first time when we were trying?
because we didn't
The
specify the
binding
queue.
was missing. Binding was missing actually.
Binding was
Bi-
missing basically.
Binding was missing
So
from the
second time
exchange
when
to
we
queue.
the second time we attempted, it created the queue. Or it also binded. All that
Yes.
magic done by the package. Not the RabbitMQ is not doing that.
No.
We need to check
So
that code.
if you go and implement this in the normal PHP MQP lib basically, if you just configure it the same way, it will create a queue
So
and it will bind it.
where have we configured? We haven't configured anything. If you take a look at the route. So
We have
your
configured in the code.
ideally the route.php, right? Route.php, web.php, sorry. So that section is the only place where we have done the producer and the producer thing. Correct. So there we haven't configured anything.
But in the config we had defaults, no?
The config is part of package. Where did we write a code to create a queue?
So
Okay.
see, I will tell you.
Okay.
We mentioned this RabbitMQ queue. We attach the queue, right? Now let's see if we can just go here and see if it's creating a queue or sort of thing. It's not creating a queue basically. If you see RabbitMQ message consumer is just hitting the queue. Now if I
It's
go back to
it's
Abstract
PHP,
class. It's an abstract class. Can we check the
yeah,
implementation of
it's a RabbitMQ queue. Now state name, state config. It's just a normal configuration. Now if we come into the message part, it's string get exchange.
No, it won't be here. No. Go to web.php. Hold a second. Here, RabbitMQ.
Yes.
In the first 20 to 22 line, the queue is being created. 20 to 22, somewhere queue is being created.
So
No,
see,
it created a queue with the name of Laravel. We have. Can you remove that cursor? Somewhere I read Laravel. Yeah, you see
see
line
this Laravel.
43.
So,
This
but it
is
didn't create a queue. This is just a like a object oriented way of defining the queue. State name,
No,
state.
no,
This is just
but
a
if you go to if you go to that RabbitMQ management dashboard, you will see the Laravel named queue. Just go there.
but that's what I'm saying. It's just if you see one minute, I will tell you one thing. 156. Currently, there is this one running connection. If I close this, there will be a zero connection. And let's go to wave. Now, currently, we are passing it to a taste exchange and routing key as a key. I'm just changing routing key as a something paste. Okay. Now, if I run this, now coming to this.
You have to run the consumer as well so that it will create queue and all.
right.
So now channels, if you see,
You can directly go to the dashboard now, whether it has created or not.
Created,
No.
See, the queue name is Laravel.
so in taste exchange, there will be a topic like basically it has been published by the this routing key, but as it's this routing key doesn't bind to anything. Now, if you see to add binding from this exchange, routing key is this TSTT.
queue
No,
will
but it
have to
happened.
specify. Yeah,
Now you're doing manually. It happened automatically last time.
Huh.
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's based on the configuration, right? It passed that Lara. We
No,
need to.
do one thing. Do one thing before running the consumer. Before running the consumer, instead of Laravel, just change the name and then run the consumer. Let's see if it actually does that.
Huh. So
Don't.
Lala.
so now if uh I
So
want to run
I
my
will
Google
I
Hotspot.
will take a look at this package.
But I'm pretty much sure about this. It doesn't create this. So now if we come to the see now, it has published.
Yeah.
Now it's handled by the Laravel because we have binded it with the
TSTTK.
TSTT, but it didn't created the Laravel. Now, if I create this as a Laravel as a consumer, you see this not handling anything, but there will be a queue created basically. But it's binded with the key because we have mentioned that we want start consumer on the this queue with this exchange.
There is
But
key as well.
so this is not being done by package. You are saying this consumer, when we call consumer,
Yes,
package is okay. Package simply forwards this data to the PHP
the,
core library of RabbitMQ, and it does that.
yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, not core library of RabbitMQ, but
Mm.
AMQ. Yeah,
Yeah, state
PHP
exchange. If you
MQ
see,
lib. PHP MQ lib.
yes,
MQ. Okay,
Okay.
okay, okay. I will still, for me, it is bit complex, but I think.
Your voice is breaking, Jigar.
Oh,
if you see
better now.
public,
Okay. This is lost.
Uh,
Is it still audible?
you are audible now, but your video is lagging now. Okay. Anyways, we will figure it out. We will figure it out. Like if who is doing what. Okay. But I have one question. One last question. Uh, do you see that we can use this RabbitMQ for alerting or sending a notifications or maybe sending a webhooks? Do you see the use case, and like can we do all three together? Like your approach, like what do you think out of the box? Because I think we
window.
can do, yeah, I think we can do that. But do you see any use case? Okay, I can use for notifications, like there will be one microservice. All the different services will send the data, and then it can be consumed by uh,
Yeah.
some other libraries.
Yeah, we can do that. Actually, we can do that basically. What
Definitely.
when
It
you
is
said
one.
about so you are saying saying that we will use RabbitMQ to use as a WebSocket layer where it will publish on a RabbitMQ and that WebSocket server will listen on the RabbitMQ consumer or something like this.
No, no. There will be a lot of publishers who will publish or notifications, alerting stuff or webhook stuff. So whenever the event is triggered, let's say account get created in my service, right? So I'm sending a RabbitMQ that account got created. Now let's say some other service wants to, let's say, run a trial on my account, or maybe do something with my data, right? So then they can operate and then they can do that. So like these kind of things at the same time we can use for notification alerting and webhook at the same time. Can we do that? And
Yeah, I think so.
how it will scale? Like I think I also think that it should.
It should do
So
the
see,
work.
uh, first of all, your that notification service should be like a independent. It can handle all sort of things.
Hmm.
Only thing which you need to define is the message, like in which message you're gonna just consume that thing. Basically, in which format do you want that first publish producer service to give the message to? And once that is defined, you can just start as many notification services, and it will be able to handle it just based on that. Let's suppose you want same as Laravel notification, right? You can have a different
Mm.
configuration and you can publish it to a different configuration, right? The
Right,
notification. So same way
right,
you can configure it that way. That notification service needs to be handled your RabbitMQ message in that way.
Mm. Okay, so there will be RabbitMQ server and plus the notification service, and it should handle this service should handle everything. Okay, okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah,
Mm.
your dedicated notification service. So let's say if notification service is also becoming like it's taking too many load, you think,
Mm. Mm.
then probably you can divide that
Decouple that.
notification service further. Like let's say one only for webhooks, one only for
Mm.
mobile
Maybe this
notification,
should
one
be done
only.
later. Mm.
Yeah, you can divide, but initially you can start with only notification service. That should be fine, and that is one of the core use case of, I think, event-driven service where
Mm.
notification, it's okay if it takes some time, right? It's
Mm.
okay if it is a delay by 1 minute or something. But one thing that I have read and even seen in videos, that event-driven architecture, because there is a queuing mechanism. So if there is too much of traffic, if
Mm.
there is if the delay is occurred, then that
Mm.
delay is then persistent, then we need to somehow increase the number of consumers to consume it quickly, and then so that it can process it more quickly. So
Mm.
one of the issues that what I have read is that about this architecture is that if it lags too much. So we have to like balance it out. We need to make sure that the equal number of, not equal number, but it, yes,
Good amount
we are
of.
processing in a, yeah, we are processing in a decent amount of speed where user is not getting uncomfortable. Okay, there is a delay. I had made a payment, but I'm getting a minute message after 10 minutes, so that shouldn't happen. I hope you
Mm.
understand. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's where your RabbitMQ, this management plugin will come in. It will notify you if there is a lot of like same way Horizon notifies you that there are a lot of jobs in one single queue. You can actually
Mm.
configure it that way. And yeah,
Mm.
I think yes. Then this is a very good like Jigar mentioned this. You can have a different services for handling the mobile notification, handling the different types of notification where topics can be actually used,
Mm.
where you can just mention where exactly it needs to send, and Exchange will take care where, in which queue it needs to be published, where exactly
Ah,
it's subscribing it to.
right. So basically, when we use the topic strategy, then at that time we send the one identifier. Based on that, Exchange will identify to which queue it should go. Let's say I'm sending the email notification as an identifier, so it will go to email queue. If I'm sending a webhook as an identifier, then it will go to a webhook queue, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. So okay, Sudhir has one question. Also, do compare it with SQS. I have read SQS is highly scalable, even for huge traffic. Yes, you are absolutely right. We are using SQS. We are processing a lot of jobs and millions of jobs actually every day. But at the same time, you what you guys think? Like, is RabbitMQ, like, based on your knowledge, your understanding, your use? Uh, like
I think
how much it can scale, like how.
one thing with SQS is you don't get a good developer experience. You have to use a mock service
Mm,
for it to locally work, and then you get a vendor lock-in. So if you are fine
uh,
with these two tradebacks, then you can definitely use SQS. There is no problem with that. But RabbitMQ, as I listen, like many high scalable application use Kafka instead of RabbitMQ. They create like a cluster of this different message brokers. Then you just push it to that cluster, and then cluster takes the responsibility of that on which consumer I need to push in the data basically.
So
mm.
So RabbitMQ,
so even exchanges have load balancer in Kafka.
kind of.
That is interesting. But there is one thing, one catch actually. Implementing this SQS is very easy because we have some libraries. We can just use some. It is very easy. Looks like this RabbitMQ is overwhelmed with lot of terminologies, like what is exchange, what is topic, what is fan out. So it needs a developer who understand these concepts, or at least willing to understand this concept and then implement it. So I think that's what I feel, that it is it is not that developer friendly initially, at least, but yeah, later it can be.
Also, yes, that plus also the operations cost also, and also the management is upon us, especially if it is a small team. Like, we'll have to maintain this RabbitMQ also, right? It's a server proper. It's a server. I will call it a server.
Hmm.
So yeah, it needs a maintenance. So yeah,
Yeah,
the SQL is taken care by Amazon. We don't have to worry about that.
that's what
Uh,
Sudhir is also saying. Like, we don't need to
so
self-host it.
So see, there are two solutions from AWS. One is Amazon MQ, and there is another thing called as the Amazon SQS. SQS is a very high level implementation of the message queue layer. Basically, it's you can compare Laravel SQS with the Laravel queue. Basically, it can be used as a queue config. MQ sits on a very like a on one layer below this basically, where you can actually have a lot many control, and you can have a managed instance of RabbitMQ also in the same Amazon itself. And there is like this very good article written by the Amazon itself. What exactly the difference between? I think we can't post a link here, but
So
You can
if there
post
is
in
a
the comments. Yeah, if it is
if,
available.
I
if so if there is a managed service provide, so okay, you mentioned, right, there is a RabbitMQ cloud as well. RabbitMQ
Cloud
cloud.
AMQP. Cloud
Yeah,
AMQP. One
then
service.
then we can use that instead of this SQS, I think. But yeah,
Hmm.
this what Bhushan mentioned, the complexities of this terminology still exist, but at least the server management we have taken care of.
Hmm.
so
So
I will share you one thing. I will share you one thing. Just need to share this. So if you see, there is like this difference. Uh, in a SQS, the synchronous resource type you cannot execute. Queues is there, publisher subscriber messaging is not there, message brokers are not there. But in Amazon MQ, all these things are present.
Yeah,
So if you
I forgot to mention, yeah, this acknowledge thing, I doubt SQS has.
yeah,
Hmm, nice. You can share that link over here. Share this link in the
chat itself, it will be.
chat. Yeah,
I am trying to
nice,
share it.
nice
Okay, let,
comparison.
let, let me put it. Let me put it. I got that. Okay. Why you guys can't comment on the chats?
I can.
Not
So
sure.
I we have to sign in first.
Okay. Signing. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thanks.
Then I think it was very fun.
Yep.
We extended a lot. I think we got interested in these terminologies and we wanted to do dig so much. So I think we have extended a lot. But I think it was a good discussion. We got to know the terms and that clarity with some simple terms like postman and all this stuff. I think it's good.
Thanks everyone. Thanks Pushpa.
Yeah, even thanks everyone. Like I also got to learn a lot many things today, and I'm too much interested in using RabbitMQ in detail now.
Hmm. I think I'll do. Anyways, I need to do some work on that, so I'll be doing all this research and everything. But yeah, uh, like let's say once I have one good understanding of this, all these things, maybe we can plan something again, and then at
Sure.
that time maybe I can show you all the things how it is doing, or maybe Jigar, like
Yeah.
we can plan.
I doubt I
Yep.
will be working with RabbitMQ because, like I mentioned earlier, I don't have a that heavy use case. I don't think like for especially for new developers, it's okay if he doesn't understand all these terminology.
Exactly. Agree. Totally agree with Jigar here. You don't necessarily need to learn a new technology because just because it's everyone is using it. If you have a special use case, then only you should definitely learn it. Yeah.
But it's good to know at least. I should know that okay, this thing exists, and for this scenario, we can use this. So
Use
let's
that.
say in future, if I get an opportunity to work on a very heavy project, probably I will suggest this. Thanks.
Hmm.
And do we want to summarize it, or I think it's well summarized already?
Yep.
Last 15, 20 minutes, we have summarized it. Or do you want
Yeah,
to?
you can go ahead. You can go ahead. Like what the terminologies and everything, you can summarize, and then we can wrap it up.
Okay, so I will try to imagine the picture that Pushpak was drawing. So there is producer to
Hmm.
think. Like if you want to think, we can think it like a Laravel dispatch. So that's a producer. There is a consumer or a subscriber, which is the one responsible for reading all the messages. And it can be written in any language. So one thing to note is that it is not language specific. It is agnostic, and we can use anything. Now, from a from user standpoint, we can use let's say if you want to solve only a dev problem, like business problem, one can directly use this package like Pushpak, what Pushpak has shown, or one of the existing package, and we can solve a business problem by using Laravel queues, etc., directly. But let's say we want to go one level deep inside and understand how are things set up inside RabbitMQ. I won't go one level deep, like how that protocol works, I said, because even I don't understand at this stage. But how that is set up is like it has exchanger between producer and queue. There is a exchanger whose responsibility is to act as a postman, like we discussed. So it will based on the type what producer is sending, it will divide into queues, and the subscriber will basically keep on pulling on the queues that they are interested in, and it will process those messages. This is what I have understood. So exchanges is the middleman, the postman, and queue uh, queues are the queues where basically
Queues are the
before
queues. Routing keys is basically just an address. Address we can
routing is like there is a
address of the.
pattern match, yeah,
Hmm.
pattern match, etc., etc. There are different strategies which we haven't gone through, so I won't
Hmm.
go deep into that. But I think it's
I can go on this, like there are topics, so based on different topics it has different identifier. Based on that, exchange will decide which queue it should go, so that is topic. Then there is a routing. If you have specific routing, then it will directly go to the queue where it is binded. There is a fan out strategy. So what happens is publisher sends the one message, but there are 10 different consumers, so then all 10 consumers will get that as a copy of that. And then once all the consumers has acknowledged it, then it will get deleted or something like that. And there is then direct, which is very normal, so like the send process. Direct is direct only.
thanks.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right. Good summary. I
Okay,
think.
so so then thank you for joining.
Thank
uh
you.
yeah, hope you
And
had some hope you had like hope you have got some good understanding of RabbitMQ and everything around it. What we discussed, what we laughed at. I think it's good. Yeah,
Yep.
see you then.
See you.
all right, thank
Hope
you.
we
Yeah,
hope we
see you guys.
again
Bye.
frame with the new topic. Yeah,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
much excited.
yeah, yeah.
Bye, guys. Good night.
Bye, good
Good
night.
night.